following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
We've all looked in the mirror, seen our reflections, see how it mimics our movements, our speech. But imagine, if you will, that the reflection looking back at you is not yourself. They look like you, they act like you, they mimic the same movements, but it's not the same person. That's what we've got here today. Two people with long, elusive resumes, similar play styles, but two entirely different people. We are in the round of the Sweet 16, getting ready for a heavyweight bout. It is going to be Cap versus Ghost. As mentioned, these two are very similar in their playstyle, very similar in what they bring to the table as far as their previous resume. We look at Cap. He was the tournament winner of Aquatic April back in 2024. He's made it to the Sweet 16 3 times, and he also was in the Super League in 2024. On the other side, Ghost might as well read off the same resume for the most part. 3 times he's advanced into the Sweet 16. He's also been in the Super League in 2024, and these two now are looking to see who is going to move on to the next round here in the HufflePuff region. Let's take a look at how we've gotten to this point. You see, Captain ended up taking down Myth very handily, 4-1. Ghost had to fight a little bit with Yoshi, but handily was able to move on as well at 4-2. It will not be a walk in the park like it was for these two the last time they battled. Now, it's going to be winner take all at all cost, and it is going to be a tough road to travel. I'm Seth Cole. I got the boss KT with me here for this one. KT, I mean, we have in the past all the way down here, whether it's the round of 16, the round of 32, going all the way back to the original 64, we have seen so many matchups that we haven't maybe necessarily expected to go into Game 7 do so. This is one, I think, that we can have the high expectations that we are going to see this go all the way down to the very wire, maybe even the last play of Game 7.
Well, it'll be Game 9 today, Seth. Of course, we have a best of 9. That's 100% on me there. But what an intro, man. You talked about it, looking at the mirror. And that's what Cap and Ghost are. Cap, fast, furious. Ghost, the fastest in the West. You can't expect anything better than that in terms of gameplay, in terms of the action. We know Cap has that low-tier effect that he so knows and loves. He did it back in Aquatic April. Of course, he's a different player when he's turned up versus he's not turned up. But I'm interested in Ghost, right? Ghost is a player that we know can make mistakes on this bot. And that was what evident in the last Super League. But the last 2 games, where especially you play Yoshi, where everyone thought, oh my god, Yoshi's got the number with the revenge game. Ghost found a way to put the fork in it and get here. Both guys know what's at stake, Seth. The winner of this game controls the region. The other side is Yepez and Leah. They're 5 and 16 seeds. It's hard to get back here, right? And every single time in March, there's only 2 major tournaments in the regular season, here in T5. You got to seize the opportunity. I'm interested to see what both will do. I think we're going to go to you, man, throw some questions to the play. I'm going to let you take the questions to the play. I know you got some good ones. Go for it.
Well, before we do that as well, kind of playing off of what you were saying there with Captain and Ghost, waiting in the wings to see who's going to face off against Leah and Yepez, they don't have to wait long because we actually have both of our semifinals here for the HufflePuff region. this afternoon and this evening. Looking at the upcoming schedule, you've got, obviously, right now, Captain versus Ghost. 10:30 tonight, Yepes taking on Leah. We'll find out who the finalists will be here for this specific region. And sandwiched right in between there, you've got at 8 p.m. Chomik and Julio Caesar in the Gryffindor region. So some good matchups coming up, and pretty interesting that we're going to know who the final people are going to be here to ballot out for this specific region, waiting in the wings to see what happens over in Gryffindor, Slytherin, and Ravenclaw as well. But yeah, going down now here to the table, and it's going to be very similar, I feel, in the questions as well, just based on the fact that the play styles are so similar. Cap, I'm going to start with you. I mean, you ended up having a pretty easy time of it to be able to move on to this semi-final, but with the similar play styles, do we see you continue with what you know best, or is this a moment where you have to maybe adapt a little bit further, go a little bit further outside of your comfort zone? Do you think the same old is going to be enough to get you one step further, or what kind of adjustments need to be made here today? And as Captain's typing, I'm going to ask the same thing to Ghost there, maybe just a little bit modified. Ghost, I mean, what kind of modifications do you make? Do you have an original game plan coming in? Do you think that game plan is going to stay the same throughout the entirety of this tournament? Or do you think there's going to have to be some adaptation as well on your side?
Seth, as you ask those questions, man, I think back to both of these players. Go ahead and read that. Go ahead.
So Captain's saying we'll continue to play his game, won't change anything. All right, sticking with what he knows. We'll see if that's enough to be able to get him past Ghost.
Back to what I was saying, absolutely. We know Cap, he's not going to be a player stuck in his ways. We did see last series, he played a little bit of a 9, he played a little bit upper tier. We know he has that 5 to 8 lethal look, and we talk about this, Seth. We did a last game with Eric Monaco. How could he take care of Ashley? This is a whole different world. This is fast on fast. And when you have fast on fast gameplay, you think, oh my God, the stakes are coming, the pressure's on, the heart rate's racing. These guys are used to the elements of quick. The question is, when we have that crescendo moment, where it could pop off at any time, especially with the low tier, where does someone take a breath? I think this will be one of the few games we do where it's not about how fast you go, it's about who will take that breath and find that crescendo moment to get to the finish. And we'll see what Ghost says for sure.
And you talk about the fast gameplay for both of these particular individuals, and we've already listed off the resume they've got coming into this, and people might be thinking, well, how in the world are you able to have fast gameplay but still be successful? It's because I think if you kind of look into the mind of both of these guys, they are always 2, 3, maybe even 4 plays ahead in their strategy, ready for certain scenarios, and as soon as they see one of those plays by the opposite person that fits into one of those strategies, immediately they know exactly what path they want to take to try and get to the end.
No attack, no chance for both. It'll be an interesting juxtaposition for both, though, because we have 2 power plays here, Seth. We have not seen that. Remember, if you're new to the format, only March Madness, and now the new added T5 will have the let's call it the major format with the 2 power plays. That makes a little bit of a difference. We saw earlier in the other Sweet 16 game that was on the op window, Elaine, he played a little aggressive with it, and then sometimes playing aggressive with it, taking the opponent, instead of just saying, oh, I'm just going to use it to finish the game. Boom, game 4. Game 5, that's 5 games win. Lane did it early. Did he change some momentum? Saved it for game 9. Boom. Got the momentum back. Stopped playing his tracks and took care of business with 0+4s. We'll see if we get something like that today. That would be impeccable. But both of these guys will have to rely on speed. But they're going to have to find other things as... Go ahead and read that one, man. He's answered.
Says against Captain, playing fast and furious honestly may not be optimal, but it can guarantee it's going to be a very fun fight. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a lot of hype around this matchup here. And before we get started, KT, I just got one more question for you here in terms of, the difference between what we saw back in the round of 32, now here into the Sweet 16. You already alluded to it. 2 power plays instead of 1, and then the 9 games instead of 7, the best of 9. So we're ensured that we're going to at least get 5 games. If you go back to the 2 previous matchups that these 2 guys have had back in that round of 32, we ended up having a 4v1 and a 4v2. They got it done pretty quickly. Is that going to cause a problem, do you think, for them in this one? The fact that it was so quickly, they didn't really necessarily have a lot of adversity to have to overcome in their previous matchups, or are they so far ahead in their play of Uno that it's not going to affect them at all here, heading into a matchup that's going to be a little bit longer in length and in terms of mental strain in a way?
Well, you look at this set, there's two ways to skin the cat. We saw this with Allen. We saw this with Tago. They said, well, especially Allen, I didn't have the reps because I played such an easier opponent or got through unscathed, right? No issues, fairly sweet and simple. Said we talked about this, just give me flashbacks to good old 2024 Tapir versus Nam. I said those guys had about 90 starts apiece. These guys had played 224 regular season games combined. It's 108 for Ghost, 116 for Cap. That's a lot of games. These guys know what to expect. They've been around the ringer. They're both 100-start guys. You look at Cap, as we talked about the resume, he's got 72 regular season career wins. That's a lot. But guess how much does Ghost have? 64. That's a lot. They're starting to build resumes. They've been here before. These guys are not first-timers in this round. They're both three-time participants in the Sweet 16, making their third appearance. I think the experience will definitely be on Persuade for sure. The only difference I will say with this, as you said, with two power plays, it's allowing you to be a little bit more aggressive on that. And that's where I'm interested, because they're both aggressive on pace, but they have to take a second to step back, as it says in your name with the step back 3 in March Madness, to get that right flow. Because that could be the difference between winning a game and see you in 9. And you're fishing the next round, which will be for tournament 2. But we'll see. Gonna be a good one, man. I think let's get it down to the table. The ref already took care of business. Nick, can't wait to see what he does as the ref. And I'm ready, man. It's going to be a good one. Be fast and furious, as Ghost says.
So a number 2 seed versus a number 3 seed. Captain as the higher seed. He gets the call for this first game. Cap, how many cards? Going 9. And wow, I think even the bot knows that this is going to be a slugfest here. Going to start us right out with an offensive card, a red +2.
Fast. Just like that says fast. Half off special. Background to appear, and we're going into a quick switch. They're playing quick, fast, and furious. It's going to be tough for us, but we'll handle it for sure.
Yeah, do you think about, we're not even playing the cards. We're just observing, and we're going to have to keep our wits about us with the rapid fire we're seeing here is playing into the yellow, immediately the swap to green, immediately the swap to red.
Oof.
You ever, those hockey games where they'll hit the puck to one side and immediately it's on the other side of the ice? I feel that's what's going on right here, and it's probably going to happen the entirety of this afternoon.
Well, there's a crescendo moment at any point. This game can end in one turn. That's the beauty of Cap's style. That's the beauty of Ghost. When it's like this, one turn, the game could be over. Oh, that was close.
Wow.
Oh. That's interesting leaving it. Let's see how Ghost reacts. Does Cap have got to play aggressive? We know this, but Ghost will play it cool. Does he get a top deck? That's what he's looking for. Loads up. Let's see if there's a top deck looming for Cap. That's a top deck!
It is a top deck. Holy cow.
How quick was that?
Stuck with just the yellow 4 and got the +4 to bridge to the end.
Oh, man.
Well, we said it was going to maybe be up to a Game 9 tournament. We didn't say it was going to be a long one. I mean, we're already one game in, and we haven't even put a minute and a half up on the board.
Yeah, we're at Atlanta today, Seth. We're going.
Oh yeah,
we're going fast. We're going to Atlanta. But I don't have a question, because let's face it. What's the question?
No,
pretty much this play today.
It was all so straightforward right there. Got bailed out with that +4 there with the top deck. I mean,
we're going Mach 1.
Nothing you could do.
1. Mach 1, Mach 2, pace Cap. I guess the only thing I'll ask you, man, were you just playing the percentages of saying, okay, I have such a great feel on that 9. Maybe there's a top deck looming in the sense that maybe you split the cards, because there's 18 cards that get dished out. That's a total of 90 on the deck. You assume you play a couple, right? No, do you basically say, because if I look at it, yeah, I mean, basically, the 89th card per se in the deck was the +4. So is that a strategy to say, you never know what you can get on that first draw? Let me be the aggressive one. and hope it sticks to landing because I don't really have much to say. Seth, I think this is going to be a game where we expect it to be a 10-minute series. If this was a best of seven, we are definitely going to be at a new land speed record. Right, Atlanta. I think it's going to be fast and furious. I don't know what else to say to go. I wish I had something for him, but he really just got unlucky.
Yeah, guys, we still have about 4.5 hours till the next broadcast. We don't have to be done this quick.
They're wasting us. No, but no. Anyway, it's that pregame was longer than that one.
It was. It really was.
We'll see how this response will be from both players. Obviously, Ghost, hard to really say because it was a 1-minute game. Well, it's Cap, that's what he loves. Cap loves to play this quick, rapid fire, see you later, peace. Whatever you want to come up with the analogy, goodbye. A style, and that's the beauty of him, right? He's not going to be a flashy player, but when you give him a little bit of fire, he can start to ignite it for sure.
Incredible that we started out with 9 cards each. Only 1 card was drawn, and we got done in less than a minute and a half. All right, I guess let's, the restrictor plates are off. It's time for another restart. Here we go. Cap gets the call for the second game here. What are we going for this time? He'll go 1 lower. Goes down to 8.
There he is. Of course, Lane Sanders. One of the most impressive wins of his career, no +4s. Let's see how fast we go. Cap, ready to type out. Ghost, ready to type out. What a shock. Cap really loading up here. Taking his time? Or has he got something mega already off the start?
I don't know. Yeah, this seems to be taking quite a bit of time.
Oh, my
hello.
word.
Wow. That's a quad.
I think it's going to be a quint. Yeah, quintuple. Holy moly. Oh, no.
Wishing for infinite card chains.
Oh, no, that's a...
Ghost a little quick there. Captain did not get in the command that he wanted. Now there it is. Well, he still plays it, so there's the KT Wild. Trying to draw it back to blue. We saw the chain that Captain put together to get it off of blue, and there you go. Great play into the draw.
Now the question, Seth, is we've seen this problem. Number of fish.
Yep.
There it is.
There it is.
Once again, the reads, man. And that's going to ice Ghost. That's big. See what will be from Ghost. He'll get the yellow.
Yep. That was the color. Green was the color that Captain wanted to go to. Ghost brings it back to yellow. See if Captain's willing to run it there. Oh my gosh.
Word. I got nothing again. Are you kidding me? 124.
What?
I got nothing, man.
I'm so glad I'm not getting paid by the hour. Gracious.
No, I mean, we're out of a job with this game. Okay. All right. Cap, guys, we knew this was going to be a fast and furious. I'm going to go to Cap. Once again, Cap, your fuel on the low cards has been stupendous. It's been unbelievable. I got to ask, because there's a lot of people that wouldn't make that aggressive break, right? You wait to the end. Maybe you got all that reverse skip meta, hope for a draw city. Did you see on gameplay that there is a little bit of a different look to Ghost where you maybe have seen draw cities in that Yoshi game where you want to eliminate the good draw city? Yeah, well, I'm going to assume we did. It's back-to-back. But your thought, it's insane. But your thoughts, Cap, on trying to eliminate the draw city, play this more... Okay, so Cap says no. So Cap, you had it off the start then.
So, what did he draw? The +2? It's the only thing I can think of that he may have... Yeah, okay. He drew the yellow +2, so he had the wild +4 in reserve. Combination of luck and number efficiency, really.
It's hard to ask a question, Seth, because we talked about on this bot 5 to 8, 5 to 9, even with Cap. He's one of the few players. That's what he does best. Yeah. He limits you to a box, and I have to ask Ghost. I don't really. I mean, he messed a little bit. Maybe you can mess around a little bit with the card love, but we know you have a 5-card pack. Do you risk that with Cap? We saw Rogers try that, and boom, and went up in the smoke. Do you try something upper tier for this next game? Because I'm afraid Seth and I could be out of here in 20 minutes.
I do actually have one question for Captain too, because he's
Go
talking
ahead.
about having that good chain at the start. A lot of times we'll end up seeing where people will wait on those chains. They see where they can put together 3, 4, 5 cards at a time, and they'll wait to do that at the end of a game to be able to finish it out. But we saw him do it at the initial start here. Was that just on the fact you had a little bit of insurance with that +4 on the initial draw as well, or is it just part of the playstyle, the aggressive, fast playstyle that we've seen already here out of the gate?
Well, Seth, all joking aside, I think if you're a Ghost, look, you look at the average time, it's minute 21, right? You really can't do much on Plan A games. You could try something lower and risk a potential real gut trench of 3-0, but if you go upper, you got to find a little bit more on the possible guess play counterintuitive. Maybe draw early and hope for something, right? It's hard because I don't personally do this low. I know you're not a guy to go this low. We don't have the EXP to really try to say how this game could be turned differently, and that's what makes it harder to adjust as a broadcaster because you know it's going to end at any moment. I said at any moment the game could crescendo. Well, now we're 2 for 2 on that.
Yeah, and also when you kind of think as well, higher card count, you get a better chance of more ammo. You kind of look at the last 2 games so far here for Ghost, and while it was kind of a back and forth at the initial start of the first game, and then we saw Captain was able to string that chain together. You look at this second game, Captain immediately firing a quick shot, and Ghost had to fire a defensive play there with the blue wild. So if he can get some more ammo to be able to work with a higher card count, he can maybe then take the offensive to Captain, try and draw this thing back even.
I think that's a great point, Seth. I think it's the only thing we can do, man, is we still have a longer pregame than the actual game on the table. Let's go to game 3, I think. All right. I'll take it here. Ghost, something's got to change, man. Nick's our ref. You're free to go wherever you want. What are we going to do? All right. We'll upper. We'll play a little bit upper there, Seth. Blue 6, another blue card to start. Of course, lane M was the match. And there's the aggression. Not a surprise. Into the yellow.
Immediately with the color swap.
Ghost, Cap, gonna run. We'll see if we finally get some lower blood pressure here. We'll see. Yellow 3 now into Monkey. Goes Ghost. Here comes Cap. 7 Cs.
For those that are watching, don't take a bathroom break. You come back, game 3 might be done already.
Yeah, for real. Here we go. Now we'll have him with Cap.
Oh! Brings it right back to yellow. And Captain says, no. We're going to go to blue.
Let me get the board up. Hold on.
Ghost iced out in the blue. Captain will continue to run.
Okay. So that's the first change there from Ghost. First time he actually tried something. That's a little bit different. About a minute, then I'm just going to assume. There we go. All right, board's up, and now we'll see what Ghost can do. He put himself on a dead end, and that's the tricky part, right?
Yep.
Seth, you put yourself on a dead end early. That's going to give Cap momentum, and he starts to play more freely when he starts seeing those wilds and +4s. How does Ghost respond?
Brings it back to blue.
Ghost has to try something right here. Cap going to make a heat check move. Let's see if Ghost has anything in the back pocket. Let's see if a crossover on the wilds.
Oh, he does.
Yes. There's the recap's ice.
Nicely done.
Classic.
Draws it back even at least.
Yep, the old KC Classic. Good move there. But this is Cap. A top deck can loom at any point. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. That's 3 in a row for Cap, Seth. In a row.
We don't know for certain that was drawn. He might have actually had that in his hand initially.
Maybe, but that is unbelievable from Cap. And you can see he's if that was not drawn, that's
but right back.
And now we're getting some strategy, and you got to say that's You got to fight fire with fire. You cannot allow
Yes.
Cap to run like this. If you allow Cap to run, when he gave that pivotal info, I run with the +4s freely as we see a double play into Caesar and to Brian. That's when the game could end. And right now, that's what they're playing. A little bit more fire on fire.
Yeah, especially when you're down 2-0 here with 2 power plays on either side, because you consider the fact that we could end up going into a 3-0 situation. You could have game 4 with a power play, you could have game 5 with a power play. It puts you in a really tough position. You gotta draw this back at least to 2-1 if you're Ghost.
Here we go. Cap, 4 possessions. He's got it again.
Oh my gosh.
That had to be what, 2 minutes, 250? Oh my word!
I've gotta be honest. I've
word.
never seen somebody be as lucky with the draw with +4s as we have here in just these first 3 games. That is incredible.
Cap, well, actually, go ahead, Seth. Ask Cap that question. Was that a top deck, or did he have a little save at?
Was that drawn, or was that kind of shades of what we saw you do back in the second game, where you kept that +4? Because we saw you actually draw at one point when Ghost played the red wild. We thought you were iced out, or did you draw on purpose just to keep that +4? Was that actually a top deck draw? And they drew another one. Oh my gosh.
It's unbelievable. His feel for the low cards, and of course we know he lost to JT in Super League, but Cap wasn't all checked in now. Now he's checked in and ready to go, and it's a different player, man. There's no defense to a player such as Cap, who has good feel for the low cards, and then once he starts to really get it going on the higher stuff, man, it's almost too lethal, and it's hard to stop. I guess the only question, and it's not saying much, but I'll give one question to go. Ghost, you did have a red play there, man, and you were iced out. You tried an end around. You did a good job with the wild flush, or so you thought. Do you try to play more patient, or I don't even know, man. I guess, do you just feel you're in this pressure situation where, let's face it, right? You're in this pressure cooker. You're down 3-0. You got nothing to lose, and now you become too overproductive on maybe an aggressive play such as an end around to get you caught in a dead end window. I don't. This is tough, Seth. Usually I have questions out the walls. I don't really have much to say.
And personally, I would like to ask Ghost, going back to the initial pregame where I was asking, if you're put in a situation, do you change it up? But I honestly don't want to ask him that, because I feel in this situation, down 3-0, that you kind of want to keep your strategy close to the chest. You don't want to announce to Captain, yeah, I'm going to do something different, because then Captain knows what the strategy is going to be. So I'm just gonna ask it out, but not actually expect an answer in the thought process of, he said initially, no, I'm going to stick with what I know. I'm going to go straight on with what I've done my entire career. But now, I mean, is that going to be enough to be able to allow you to draw it back? I don't know. This is a tough situation.
Problem is, Seth, Cap's already got 2 power plays up.
Exactly. That's the thing.
House money.
That
is
the problem.
Money. You don't want to give a player such as Captain house money. That's usually good night.
If it was
He's
best of
try
9
something.
and just a 1 power play, okay, then, there's still something there, but you've got almost now 2 guaranteed. If you've got like a run to the end in the next 2 games, you've got almost a guaranteed back-to-back wins there to sweep this thing 5-0.
Yeah, I would not want to be in this situation, and I know you and me have not played Cap yet. I know Cap, he said something about one day playing me would be an honor, but man, when he's at 100%, here we go. Go ahead and read that.
Honestly, the fast-paced games make it difficult to adjust, since it's hard to know whether I should adjust my play or if these things would happen even if I changed up my plays. And that's a fair point. That's a fair point. When you're used to the fast pace, only one speed, and that's just press down the accelerator and go. Half throttling isn't necessarily an option, and a lot of people do like to actually take that little bit of a step back, observe in terms of the situation that they're in. But with Ghost and his play style, that does kind of box him in a little bit.
Yeah, we're walking a tightrope here. We'll see what Ghost can do to try and change momentum, but He's got to change it fast, unfortunately, because when Cap gets that rhythm, could be over. All right, Ghost. Go for it, Seth.
I was just gonna say we've had two hands kind of in the middle. We ended up having a higher card count there, so with Ghost having the call, it's gonna be very interesting to see what he goes with this time.
Absolutely, we'll see what he can do. All right, Ghost. It's free board, man. What are we gonna do to change some of that momentum back in your favor? What we got? I'm a gambler fallacy must. Oh my word.
Oh wow, okay. Going with the lowest you can get.
He had an advantage because that's a good starting card in 5 reverse. You can think about reverse skip meta, but now you're going to play into this. Let's see. What will Cap do here?
With low card count, how rapid fire do we
my
get? Well, apparently we
goodness.
get rapid fire still.
He's already a heat check. I mean, he's already had a heat check,
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What do you do if you're Ghost? You got to try. Let's see. He got nothing. Is this going to be game already?
Do we see a power play here? Does Captain have something to get to the end, or is he just going to play it cool at this point in time? Oh,
Okay,
he's
plays
play
it cool. That would be something.
Oh, Ghost with the power play. Wait
He's
a
gonna
minute.
try- Hold on, go. It's a switch. It's not a finisher. Yeah. Okay. In the Cap's card, ironically. So Cap, no matter what, gets sent back an extra card to question it. He gets okay. So Ghost using one of those more defensive power play measures to try to seal the game right here. Close.
Got it at Uno. Cap drew. He's been very good at drawing +4s in these last couple of games.
God.
Did he top deck
Is this
another
another
one?
one?
No, but he
Oh,
did.
we got a
He
wild.
did get a wild.
Oh man. And Ghost is iced.
Man.
Unbelievable.
And we ended up seeing Ghost out of necessity have to play the defensive power play. When you look at the situation that Captain is in, he may not necessarily even plan on using both the power plays offensively. He could try and wait and see what happens with this particular game, use a power play maybe in game 5, and then have another one in reserve if somehow Ghost is able to draw this thing back. He can have a power play in reserve for either offensive or defensive. Gives him a lot of options.
Ghost. Got the green now. Cap was struggling on that green earlier, but does he have some efficiency? He does.
Oh,
In
he
the Ghost.
does. Oh,
Ghost gets one back.
Look at that! He drew the +4 this time.
Oh my god. It's 8-minute game, Seth. That is 8 minutes so far. We're averaging 2 minutes. That's unbelievable. All right, I'll go to Ghost. Ghost, you had to get something, man. You had to get something going. Was this a case of that power play was, hey, you know what? I can't afford to go down 4-0, gamble, get some momentum. It's hard to beat Cap ever on a 5 or through 8. You got one done. Do you feel a little bit more confident, or was this a case that you finally saved a little bit of that top deck +4 magic on a draw and go from there? And that's the thing. Said we talk about it, unless you want to ask Cap something, it's when there's less cards being dealt. There's 108 cards in the Uno deck. Okay, now there's 98 cards, 5 of 5 apiece. You don't know where that ammo is going to lie. When it's 15 cards apiece, you have a good idea because 30 cards have now been reciprocated from the bot. You kind of have an idea. You have no idea with 5 on 5. 10 cards, it's the luck of the draw, and that's the magic of it. Go ahead and ask Cap if you have anything.
Yeah. You've asked Gosum, which he's typing right now, so I'm actually going to ask that question to Cap here about that, because I feel that both he and Ghost in the same situation here with what we saw at 5-card start. How much more difficult is it with your rapid-fire play style to do it with such less cards? Really not necessarily as clear paths as you would with, say, 10 cards, 11 cards, 12 cards, somewhere in that middle range that we've seen you guys in these first 3 games. I don't know, does it make it more challenging to be able to come up with a strategy with your style of play having a lower card count, or not really? Is it easily adjustable?
Go ahead.
Ghost said he had a really strong 2-color start. He used the power play to take advantage of it, so a defensive offensive power play, I guess we could say. Unfortunately, got interrupted by the wild play, but managed to barely squeak it in at the end. And it's interesting here, KT, because I think now that's 3 of our 4 games where a +4 on the draw has been the turning point.
It's unbelievable, man. And then that's the risk you take when you go low, and sometimes you got to understand it's a game of cat and mouse with these guys. I'm trying to think, because Nick makes a good point. When you don't have a plan B or a plan C, D as a broadcaster where it's just this quick, we did see this a little bit with Ghost versus Tapir, a little bit, but not this. This is as rapid as you can get, 2 minutes per game. The only thing I could really think what would be an X factor in this game is we have to go to an actual plan B and not just a quick plan A, draw city on 5, which is common. Who can adjust the best? Because I don't got much, man, right here. It's hard to read off of 2 minute per average, but we'll see. We'll see what we can look into. I'll keep searching.
Maybe a bit of a contradiction of terms, but the Ghost has life.
Yeah. He's got a little life. Look, it takes a little bit of ember, right? A little spark. You can go from there. All it takes is that one game. Let's see what Cap says here.
Would have won if Ghost didn't use the power play. More mind games in the low cards. Yeah, I mean, certainly would seem like it. But hey, 8, 9, 11 off the board, Cap. You've got the call now. Do we stay in that lower card region? Do you bring it back up there to the middle?
Oh my
Lord. The mind games. The mind games are definitely here. Wow.
Except that's the best start you can get. That is the best start you can get.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Ball is in your court. You get color choice right off the bat. Holy cow.
Ghost's going to probably just shake his head and think, what the heck do I got to do? He's going to go aggressive.
Oh, look at that. Says, no, I want to determine the color that we're running in.
What a play. He had to do something. That might be the right play.
Ghost with the 0 sugar. Now Captain going to run it. It's just a back and forth. Oh, look at that, though. Swapped into the green. Can Ghost use that? Down to 2. No. Iced out.
Here comes Cap looking for a finish. You never know with 5 cards.
Oh, look at that. Had to draw, though. Top deck for Ghost. And now they're both iced out.
Oh, that was a Fast and Furious hold your breath moment right there. And
it was.
They're in a draw city. Well, we'll see what happens here. It took a while.
Yeah, it did take a while.
But this is Cap. At any point, he can pop off, and Ghost is a similar player. At any point, we're out of here, so we'll see.
Draw City is a beautiful place, but they kept on passing by it on the highway.
All right, let's see. Where's the red wild? Back to it.
So that means there's only one wild out there now. We had a wild on the draw. Ghost had a red wild, and Captain with a red wild.
At 9 now. 1 up. There's back to yellow. Some mind games. There we go. Red, yellow, 2-color box. Cap's out. Here comes Ghost looking for 2. What a gamble this would be if Ghost can get two wins in a row and Cap's home. He lives on 5.
Oh, that's the draw. Are they both iced out? Yes, they are.
Well, that's not...
Oh.
Yeah, that's a common move, trying to see if you can get the switch.
Not going to hurt him that much, leaving it on the reverse.
There's a little top deck Kevin there from Ghost. Now here comes Cap.
Ghost been getting lucky here with these top decks, and now...
Oh, man.
We're off yellow. We're into blue.
It's so, because as a broadcaster said, when you're doing a game like this, it's me and you especially, we normally have to formulate moves, and there's a big triple play. You just don't know when the game's going to end. It's so hard because you see you're getting PTSD the first 4. When's it going to end? And it appears we're finally... Nick, go ahead, check that. Are we over 3? That's an accomplishment if we're over 3. We are over 3.
We are
man.
over
It's
3.
unbelievable.
It's a new record.
New record, around the money. Yes, once again, reads are
But you bring up
insane.
a great point there, KT, as well. With us, trying to relay what we're seeing here, we're trying as well to put ourselves in the position of the players and kind of get in the minds to explain what we kind of think we're seeing formulate here. But when it's so fast and rapid fire like this, it's hard to be able to explain what we think is the strategy being played out.
You can't foresee. Oh, I'm going to red. But why you going to red, right? We don't have an answer on that, and that's what makes this a lot different than other games. As Cap now starts to run down as he used the momentum off that +2. That's what makes this a lot different than other games. Let's see what he can do here. Oh my God!
Oh my gosh! There's the power play from Captain.
4-1. Is this a 4-1? Cap one away.
To draw.
Looking for it right here. Cap, what can I get? Yeah. Oh man.
He drew another +4. Gracious.
I don't know what to say, man. And it took a while. Took a while. Yeah, measly 4 minutes. Yep. But I have a little bit. I'm going to start with. I'll guess you'll do the Cap question set. I'll do the go. We'll take 2 sides of the story. Ghost. Look, man. I understand the 5. Right. You gotta try. Listen. I don't disagree with that move at all. Consider. I get you try something. But why leave it open on some of these reverse plays? Are you hoping for maybe back end switches? Or do you just sense I gotta switch it or else I don't know. I feel in a bind. It's hard. I gotta really just ask you, because we're not familiar with any of this fast stuff. Sets I play once in a while I commentate quick games, but this is just quick. In a Sweet 16. You don't see this ever when you get into the later rounds. What is your mindset? I want to tell you, what are some things you try to help us understand the mind of Ghost when you're playing these mind games in the 5-5-5-5-5? Go ahead. And then, Seth, if you want to ask Cap a question, go ahead.
Yeah, the question I have for Cap is, we ended up seeing Ghost go with the 5-card strategy in Game 4, and you came right back, said, you know what? I'll try that here in Game 5. Was that a statement of I don't need necessarily the higher card counts to be able to string a run together, to be able to build momentum? Or was this a kind of test the waters and see, just in case we're in this scenario a little bit later on in the game with some other low card counts of, how do I want to approach this? I'll tell you with what we're seeing right now here, KT, 2 people I do not want to be are Yepez and Leah, because, oh my gosh, with what we're seeing right now, are they prepared for the rapid fire?
Well,
regardless of who moves on, whether it's Captain or it's Ghost.
The only thing I'll say about this, Seth, the only thing I will say is we have seen this before. If it is Cap versus Yepez, we saw it. Now Yepez lost in a 4-3, it was 4-2. But the point is, it's such a one-off stuff. You don't see many play. When we did that Ashley game, oh, I'm sorry, Go, you missed it. I just want to know. Thanks for the text. I just want to know, man. Take us in the mind of how you play these quick games, because not everyone can really grasp what you're doing here. It's amazing, but it's so hard to read. It's so hard to really decipher. Take us through the mind of how you try to maneuver a 5 or a 6 or a 7 or an 8 card start. Go ahead. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So Cap has played Yepez, they've seen each other. Yepez has played Ghost. The thing I really see, which is very important in my humble opinion, is if Leah gets by, I don't know what to. She's never been here before, right? So that's a whole different story. I think what makes Cap lethal, right? I've never played him. I know I've broadcasted his games a lot. Is you just don't know when the element of surprise is going to come in. You just don't know when that run is going to deliver or it's going to hit, and you to game plan that you have to. You almost have to be. I hate to say, you almost have to have high blood pressure. You almost have to be like a high blood pressure player. You got to be this. You have to think like Captain. You have to play the mind games. You have to sweat it out. And if you don't have that sweat it out for every game, because sometimes you can sweat out a game 9, clutch gene. Every game is a clutch gene with Cap. You have to think from the get-go, even from the pregame. You gotta know. You're sweating. Every single game is a game 9. That's the only way I can see my personal belief on how Cap plays this game. He plays the game like every game is Game 9, and that makes it so hard to game plan for, where when you try to game plan for it, you almost overwhelm yourself. If that makes sense. It's hard to
No,
understand, but that's how I feel.
It makes perfect sense because I'm kind of like looking at both of these guys' style of gameplay, and I'm thinking if I'm up against them at some point, they play a card, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll play this card, and now I'm gonna look at my strategy. Wait, you've played a card already? Hold on, I hadn't even put my strategy together yet. What are you doing? It's something that I feel like. It's amazing that they're comfortable with it because I feel like depending on if you are able to rise to that challenge of rapid fire, it can throw people off.
That's the question. It's just that's going to be the ultimate question. When Ghost answers this question, I'm just really curious to see what he's going to answer. Here we go. Go ahead and read that.
Fast pace is one of his weapons. He uses it to throw off opponents who feel the need to match my pace or get into their minds with their prediction plays. Works pretty well against many opponents, but Captain is completely unperturbed and can't get a good attack in. And this is what we said at the very beginning. They're looking in the mirror. They're doing the exact type of gameplay, the exact same type of moves, but it's not my reflection. It's an entirely different person there, but he's mimicking my moves. And I think that's a thing that both of these guys have had to adapt to during the course of this, in the fact that you're basically going up against a clone of yourself.
That's hard to read, man, and that's the problem. The mirror analogy was great. It's just hard to read the next move. You don't even know what the next breath's going to be with these guys. It's kind of fun. You're in a stairway to heaven. I mean, you really are. It's either heaven or hell with these guys. There's no in between, and that's the beauty of fast pace. Great for the fans. For us commentators, man, we love Ashley. We love those guys. Brad, for something like this, we have to, like Seth and I, we're going to have to really think. We tried filling out more airtime than the actual game time. Pre-game and these questions have been more of the theory. But let's see. Let's go to Game 6. Can Cap close it out and finish this series in less than 15 minutes? I guess that's the question.
Yeah. He chose that 5-car start because he had a good lead and he had the power play. Let's see what he goes with here. Does he stay low? Does he go up maybe into the middle? He can't use 8, 9, 11, but he's got 7. He's got 10 available. We're going 6.
Oh, man. Hold your breath, Seth.
Interesting. Here we go.
My heart's racing for these guys, Seth, because it could end in one turn.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Absolutely. And that one turn will take about maybe 2-3 seconds to type out.
Yeah.
Goes with
Blue
the swap
7 now.
over to blue. Okay. Might open up the door. May ice it. It does ice it.
See what we can do here.
Is he going for a... double... Oh, what?
Holy moly.
I think the bot had a little bit of a glitch there. Well, we're good now. Okay. So a trips play
Yeah, I was
there.
going to say. Oh, my God.
And
A yellow.
right back to yellow.
This could be game. What is Ghost even try?
Unless he had something in reserve. He's not immediately drawing. Unless he had something that he was planning. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a great crossover. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Does Cap have anything there? He's got something, but that's only going to tie. Ghost, just check.
Checks it.
Cap, nothing. Goes for the 2. No.
Oh, doesn't have it. Got a top deck.
Oh, he got it.
Whoa,
Sneak attack.
Barely got that Uno in.
No wonder. There's a top deck, and there's Cap. What's Cap's formula? Top deck city. He's had so many.
Didn't have the number efficiency to get it off of green, though. We stay in draw city for the moment.
2-minute game, Cap.
Oh.
This is a popular move. So And this is the thing, right? One thing, another thing about Cap's game, take chances. And this is somebody who, up 4-1, right? Keep in mind, he could play a conservative. Why not? He still takes chances. And there's something to be said about taking strategic chances on 6 cards. There's only 12 cards being distributed. A +2 top deck? Let's get some luck. And there it is. And he finds a way.
Just keeps his foot down on the accelerator. Keeps that pedal to the floor.
That's unbelievable. And he's going to go for his little number of fish with him. Back to back.
Oh.
+4 for Ghost. You know what? You got to play.
Back him up a little bit. Yeah.
You got to play it. You can't take him home with you. Here comes Cap. Let's see what he gets.
You get down to 3-4 cards. You know, there's every possibility there could be a chain.
Oh my word.
Oh wow.
Well, that's got to be asked, Seth. Was that a save or was that just a straight?
Could have been part of the 4 cards that he was given.
Yeah.
That immediately shifts the momentum again.
Goes into a blue 4 now. Back to yellow.
Wow. I was going to say, that +2s there was a lot of ammo used, so now it may come down to number efficiency.
Yo, wait. We'll see what happened here. I'm just looking at the card here. I haven't even opened the thing as we go to a red 8. There's just not much really being played here, Seth, on ammo.
There's the power play. There it is.
I'm speechless, man. Congratulations to Cap. He moves on to another Elite 8.
Unbelievable.
How
long were we even running?
4-7. 4 point. That was the longest game.
We just crossed 51 minutes here on the broadcast. We probably went, what, 75% of that in pregame and questions? Like, what in the world?
Half hour. I've never been more speechless in my life.
Yeah, Nick's right. More yap than gameplay. He's absolutely right on that.
All right, Cap.
More build-up than on payoff.
I want to congratulate you, man. You have officially fired Seth and KT from the boot. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. We are now blacklisted from. No, I'm just anyway. All joking aside, my friend. Look, man, when you're on it, I've always said this, and I told you this privately, man. When you're on it, there's no better player in the league than you because there's no defense. I talk to the players. I always try to talk to everybody who plays you, and I think this was more impressive than any other game I've seen because it's quick. I know, listen, I'm not going to discredit Lane. I still think Lane with the 0+4 is fantastic. But in terms of what you did here today, you put on the show, put on a silent show because you allow us no questions. You allow us no insight to your gameplay on a back-end level. And all you can really say is you left us speechless. What do you do moving forward? I know you have a lot of things in the back end, back tricks you could always play, but how do you continue to gain momentum in March? Because remember, last year we all knew it was April that you ran away and found the lucky horseshoe, I guess, at the end of the well. I don't know. Your thoughts on you're playing Yepez or Leah? I don't really have much of an answer. So I can't think of anything because everything he did today. Okay. I do have one question on that game. Did you have a +4? The +4 go. Did he get a double +2 or just save some of that? But other than that, Cap, just take us into the mind of the eyes of Captain just for a little bit. You don't got to tell us everything. What it's like to be in a 15-minute series in a best of 9 that went 6. Because not everyone can comprehend that. My mind can't comprehend. Seth, can your mind comprehend that?
No, and I'm fully on board with what Caesar said with Cap putting the whole league on notice with what we had here. And, with the fact is what you said, Captain very silent today in terms of not giving away all of his tricks. We were able to see very fast, but we were able to see some of his strategy. And I love the fact that Leah is here in our watch party as well, in case she's able to defeat Yepez later on tonight. If I'm Yepez, I'm watching this one back here in preparation if I end up moving on. And anybody else that's facing off against Captain, I am strongly urging you, come back, watch this broadcast, try and glean any type of information you can. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a very interesting situation if you're the one going up against Cap later on here in this tournament.
Yeah, it's amazing. Said we'll go to the bracket, but Cap's a legend. There's only 4 legends. We're going to see the other legends, and of course me and Ashley. But if you look at the 4 legends, we all have different style. Cap, lethal, dangerous. Anything 5 to 8, anything within 4 minutes. With Cap, if we had a comparison rate, this is a super speedway in a sense that he's fast, he's furious, but it's back to the super speedways in the 80s, unrestricted. Then you've got the absolute drawback of Yepez, right? More of that. Go ahead and read that. Oh my God! Oh, it's nasty
the plus
work.
twos
It's
for
nasty.
Ghosts plus 4. I figured maybe that was the case.
That's Caesar. That's nasty, man. That is unbelievable. And then Cap, but you know what? You say that okay, Uno guides, but I don't see it that way because the more and more I see your gameplay, you're playing the percentages because remember, there's only 12 cards distributed, which is 96, compared to 30 cards distributed at a full cent. You play the percentages and you play this aggressive. You never stop taking chances, even if you're down 4-1 or up 4-1, never out of a game. That's hard to stop, and I think that's what makes your game great. Now we'll see, because if you get Yepez, it's going to be a completely different style. Leo, we have no idea, but if you get Yepez, we'll see how the rematch goes. I guess my only question that goes, what do you even learn anything from this game? Because it's a one-off style. We know your style works so well against Yoshi and Gon, right? A rookie and then a rising master. You just got beat by a legend today that's playing an ultimate style that no one sees on a table. How do you move forward for T2? Obviously, it's always good to start 2-1, but how do you move for T2 to try to learn? And for Seth, thanks for coming down, making your debut, man, in the league, but we'll get you something better. No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt on that one.
I mean,
Lord.
I'll tell you, this is a completely different, outside of the test stream that I did and games I've hopped into to commentate or to even just observe. This was a completely different animal. I've never seen something like this where 2 individuals have such a game plan in place that they are able to rapid fire out their moves as fast as we end up seeing here. I mean, this tournament flew, this matchup flew by. I've never seen this before, and this is another aspect of the players that we've got here in this tournament that is something that even myself personally have to, in a way, adjust to.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Seth. You do iRacing, right? Those guys are going virtually 180 to 200 miles per hour. This is a different type of 200 miles per hour. Your mind's going. This is a mental game, and that's the beauty of Cap's gameplay. We'll see what he says in his quote. We'll see what Ghost. My question was, what do you learn from it? How do you move forward, right? Obviously a better March than last year, but how do you move forward from this? We'll see. Back to the thing I was saying before we get into the pod, I want to end it. You have Cap, right? Lightning face, right? Unrestricted. Then you have Yepez, drawback style, plays a lot of interesting looks, right? Never panics. Then you got probably the most methodical style in the league in Ashley, right? Takes her time when she needs to take her time, never hurries up. Took Cap to 11 games, right? Only lost on that 5-6-5. That's what makes Cap lethal. And then you got the old Wily Vet KT, right? And then that's what's great about this Legends Clash. You have 4 different styles, right? And there's no right answer. It's what makes the brand better. And you have those brands into the next rounds, these bigger rounds. Now we got, of course, we call them the Low Tide Cap Crunch, Insane Lane. These bigger brands coming in, that's what makes the sport great, right? It makes better storylines. It helps the media team. But for what he did today on the table, I think that there's no debate. This is, in terms of 5 to 8, and in terms of every single game has to be a clutch game with Cap, this is the guy. There's no debate. And I think that's going to be a good thing, but it's also going to be hard for the players moving forward because Cap is also a guy, if he wins a tournament again, or he gets very far, he knows how to save Ace of Spades. And we're not going to have scheduling issues compared to last year. We ran into a bunch of junk at the end of the year. We're having a regular year this year. And that's what puts a Cap in the feather of Captain, no pun intended. We'll see what he can do. Seth, close this home, man. Let's close it out. Go for it.
All right, so Captain takes it in dominating fashion, 5-1. He topples Ghost. He will wait in the wings to see what happens between Yepez and Leah. That matchup going to be taking place later on tonight at 10:30 Eastern. Next time will be 8 p.m., where we'll be heading to the Gryffindor region with Chomik taking on Julius Caesar. But wild one, very quick one here this afternoon. Congratulations to Captain on moving on. Thanks to Nick for the refereeing and KT for joining me here on commentary. Incredible matchup. Cannot wait to see what Captain does here in the future. Thanks everyone for tuning into our coverage here of the MRE Uno tournament. The Sweet 16 rolls on. We'll see you guys at 8 p.m. later on here tonight.